played in?
Good question. I think the coldest one I played in is in Minnesota. It's maybe my second year when they were playing outside. Gopher Stadium. It was like probably below 10, somewhere around there.
What changes for you in the cold weather? Do you do something differently? Do you prepare differently? What happens?
I mean, just hand warmer. You just got to stay warm. Keep the blood flowing, keep your body warm. But I don't really prepare different. I don't think some guys are different. Every guy's different. So, it's custom to the person. But for me, just pretty much the same. As long as I got a hand warmer and a nice jacket, I think I'll be all right.
When you air out a deep throw and it's not windy but it's really cold, does it affect the ball flight?
I don't think so. Just from the games that I've played, just from my time in college at West Virginia, being in New York, I don't really think if it's not wind, I don't think that really affects it too much. Yeah.
Do you like football with a certain inflation or way if it's colder and warmer? Or anything?
Yeah. I mean, just as long as it's properly inflated and the ball feels nice, I'm good with it. I don't really have like a special preference, but as long as the ball's in my hands, I feel great.
Patrick Mahomes said yesterday that when he watches the film of the Seahawks, he sees every pass you throw is a perfect spiral. And DK Metcalf was telling us that there's an actual advantage to receivers to be able to count on that.
Mm.
Do you take pride in throwing the same kind of pass every time that the receivers can depend on that?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to throw a catchable ball. I want to make sure that that's a part of accuracy. That's a part of being a good quarterback is throwing your guys catchable footballs. Especially when it's cold, you don't want to really try and fire it too hard. It's tough on those guys to make those catches. But appreciate Patrick, man. I feel the same way about his game, man. He's one of the best in the game, and he's already got a Hall of Fame resume to be so young. So that's pretty impressive. And yeah, I just try my best to throw passes so they can catch them.
What's the trick to throwing spirals every single time? You see some balls don't come out quite the same every time.
Honestly, I don't think there's a trick. I don't know. Honestly, it's just how I throw. I don't really know. I can't really put a finger on it.
Geno, how much is timing a factor in that in terms of throwing the accurate ball in the NFL? The rhythm of the receiver and then the DB and then timing that spiral in.
Yeah, it's very important. It's very important. That's why we do all the reps and OTAs. That's why we get all those reps in mini camp and training camp to develop that timing. Football is a very fast game in the NFL. Things are happening fast. You make split-second decisions as a quarterback, and a lot of it comes down to your preparation, which is why it's so important. And we've done a great job at preparing and getting the rhythm of each other, learning each other. And it goes both ways, from quarterback to receiver and receiver to quarterback. It's very important that they're at the right landmark and that I'm seeing it the right way and throwing it in the right trajectory with the right pace and speed so that they can meet the ball and it can be a completion, maybe a big play.
Without giving away your game plan, how much of an opportunity is this for your tight ends when one of your top receivers goes down?
Yeah, I think it's with Tyler not being here for this one, I think it gives everyone an opportunity to step up, which the guys have already been doing a pretty good job. But I think obviously Tyler, he takes a lion's share of the targets because he's that good. But there's other guys who are very capable, more than capable, who just haven't gotten quite the opportunities. But I think they'll excel when that opportunity comes.
What do you lose without Tyler Lockett?
I mean, a lot. Tyler Lockett's been a staple in this organization for a long time. You lose leadership. You lose a guy who is just extremely fiery. He's a dog. As small as he is, not the biggest guy, not the strongest guy, but got the biggest heart. And so we lose one of our dynamic playmakers. We lose a guy who has been a big part of this offense for a long time. But we also gain some things. We get an opportunity to see other guys step up in new roles, and I look forward to that.
One of the guys that can step up, and he stepped up many times before, is DK. He's the Pro Bowl receiver, got his big deal in the offseason. I think a lot of people are going, all right, this is your time to shine right now. Plus win game without Tyler Lockett. How do you view all that, how important he is specifically to this next game?
Just the same as every other game. He's a dynamic player. There's no added pressure or anything like that. He's just got to go out and play his game. He knows who he is, knows how good he is. We do as well. And he's going to garner a lot of attention. He every single game, we can expect that. But, I expect DK to play with the same fire and passion that he always does. And I expect him to go out there and have a really good game. He's a great player. Love playing with him. The more opportunity he gets, the better he is. And so it's just another chance for him to really showcase who he is.
Chris Jones is an elite edge rusher, one of the many you've seen this year. What's different about the way he does it?
Yeah, Chris Jones, man, he's got a unique style because, he plays inside, he plays outside, he can be the nose guard, he can play the 3 tech, he can play the shade, or he can play end. And there's not many guys who can really play across the entire line like that. I think he has 11 sacks already, so he's very productive. And then you see him at times just wrecking games. And so we've got to be mindful of where he is at all times. It's my job to make sure I get the ball out in the proper fashion so he doesn't, have that much of an impact on the game.
What do you see when you see Carlos Dunlap over there as well?
Man, still tall. Still tall. He hasn't shrunk an inch, man. He's still tall. I think he leads the league in batted passes. He does a great job with those guys coming in, and he's a part of this pass rush package, and he's been doing a great job, man. He's making it hard on the quarterbacks. 6'6" guy with long arms. He's going to have to find ways to throw around him, but he's a guy I've always enjoyed playing with and against, and so I look forward to it.
What are the aspects of Patrick's game that you really kind of focus in on when you watch him? What makes him special to you when you are watching him?
Well, the thing I love about Patrick is the freedom he plays with. Obviously, in the Andy Reid system and with Coach Eric Bieniemy, that they coach him hard on the fundamentals. That's their style, and he's very good at that. He's very good at taking what the defense gives him. But I think what he's best at is the off-script plays, things that you can't coach. He brings a lot to the table. Very smart player, elite arm strength, elite arm talent, and then just playmaking ability out of this world.
Marquise Goodwin doesn't necessarily have a lot of catches this year, but more than half of them have been for first downs, a lot of big third down conversions, plays like that. Just what makes him good in those moments?
Well, Marquise is another guy who we talked about, like guys having opportunities to step up. And all year long, whenever his number's been called, he's rose to the occasion. And I feel sometimes that I don't give him the ball enough. Obviously, there are other factors, but I think this gives him an opportunity to get more targets. And with more targets, I expect him to have more catches and more yards. And so he's done a great job all year. He's been one of our guys who we lean on, really on third downs especially. And I think he's going to continue to, rise to the occasion and step up as he always has.
How good was Tariq's catch? Obviously didn't count, but just kind of him making that catch and how much maybe can that help him going forward?
Man, I was so happy for Tariq because he does a lot of the dirty work for us. He's a guy in there blocking for us and doing all the hard things and never complains, works extremely hard in the weight room all the time. And for him to go out there and just make that one catch, obviously it's just one catch, but he beat a really good DB on that play. And he kind of showed what he has, man. Big guy who can run, and then is a gamer, really a gamer.
Before the season started, you told us that the biggest difference between where you are now and where you were your first couple seasons is that you're more conscientious about taking care of the football. Like when along the way did that change, and how did that approach change for you?
I think really after my rookie season, looking back at my rookie season, I just felt like I had way too many turnovers. Tried to force things. Again, I always play to win. I'm always aggressive. I never want to be gun shy or feel like I'm not, doing the things that I'm capable of. But there's a fine line between being aggressive and being too aggressive. And so just evaluating myself just over the course of my career and throughout my lifetime, I just feel like one thing I can continue to grow in and do better is protecting the football. And so that's the main thing to winning games in the NFL is the turnover battle. So, my job is to make sure that I'm not putting the ball at risk or in harm's way, and then, just going out there and scoring points, without turning it over.
Every coach, I'm sure, preaches, ball security, taking care of it. But have you played for a coach that preaches it as much as Pete does?
No, I've never played for a coach who talks, ball security as much as Coach Carroll. It's literally every week, every day. That's the mantra of this program. And the numbers speak for it. And so, if we can continue to, I think we did a great job early on, kind of had a few mistakes here and there as of late. But if we can clean those things up and not have, eliminate the negatives and not have turnovers or give the defense tough battles where they got to go out there and play on a short field. It'll help us out in the long run.
Would making the Pro Bowl be meaningful to you?
Honestly, my focus is on this week in this game. Obviously those things are, personal accolades, but I'm focused on the team part of it. It's really important for us to go out there and get a win. It's a crucial part of our season. We got 3 games left to figure out what we're going to do here. So I've just been focused on that and locked in on that.
You go back to those turnovers at critical times in the last few weeks. Is it a result of pressing?
I would hope not. I would hope it's not because we're pressing. I just think sometimes things happen in games. Some of them been in our control, some of them been, kind of fluky, but it still happens, and so you got to eliminate it, and that's the real part about it.
You've had a lot of QB coaches over the years. What are some useful tidbits you picked up from all the guys you've been under along the way in your career?
Oh man, the great part is that I still stay in communication with all my QB coaches. I mean, even the first one I had, back in college, and so all those guys, they continue to remind me to be myself. They talk about my work ethic, and they tell me that I've got to keep that up. Most of all, is be the hardest worker, be the leader, do it through example, not talking, and that's really it. The football part of it, you'll have different coaches and different philosophies, and everyone will kind of teach you a new style or a different way, but it's really down to production. But the main thing is the leadership and the work ethic. Got you, boss.
Yeah. How do you play with a sense of urgency and pace without pressing and hurrying?
Yeah, I think it comes down to preparation. If you prepare with the urgency and pace, then the games become, just normal. If you don't prepare that way, then you start to press because you're trying to pick it up. But if you're just going at full speed all the time, if you're practicing hard, playing hard all the time, then it's not pressing, you're just playing hard. But if you don't prepare in that manner, when things get hard, then you'll try to, do some things that are uncharacteristic and press a little bit, and that happens. That's human. But I think it comes down to how you prepare.
When you go back to the number of quarterbacks coaches you've worked with, what has it taught you about communication, and has it helped you to learn differently when you've got so many different styles that you're pulling from?
Oh yes, of course. That's a great question. Yeah, communication is huge in this business. It's all about communication. Every day you're dealing with people, talking to people, meeting new people. And so, as I continue to grow, just learning how different styles, everybody's got a different style, everyone listens or learns a different way. So figuring out the person, getting to know the person, and then learning that person's learning style in order to, get whatever we need to get accomplished. At the end of the day, it's not about me or one person, it's about us. And so just continuing to remind guys that it's all of us, it takes all of us, and trying to be selfless and just do the right things at all times.
From what you can tell, what's happened with the run game in the last 4 or 5 games?
Well, obviously we had some injuries, some things that have set us back a little bit, but overall, it just comes down to execution. I don't think anyone's in a panic, but like I always say, there's a sense of urgency to get that back going. You can see when we were on that win streak, we were running the ball really well, very balanced, and then, we were out there taking care of the football. So those are 3 things that we can count on that'll help us win games. And so if we just get back to executing the right way, I think we'll be all right.
Pete has said in the past ideally he wants his quarterbacks 70% completion. Has that been a benchmark for you in your career, the number you want to do?
Not really a benchmark. More so just I try to complete every pass I throw. I don't like incompletions. You start throwing too many, and it doesn't feel good out there. So, I just try to, get 1 and 2 and just keep going after that. And so I don't really set benchmarks, but I do, like I always say, I have a personal, preference of how I would like to see myself play. And so just trying to go out there and play the right way and do things that I'll be proud of.
Anything else? Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.